Oh, it's getting good. Are you guys ready? Hope you have your beverage. Time to relax. Let's get into chapter 29 of In the Company of Witches. Here we go. Everyone, everyone, Williams called out as the crowd erupted in panic chatter. We have strayed far from our original path. Liz, I failed to see what the connection, a love affair that may or may not have happened years ago has to do with your aunt's death. It clearly isn't a motive. And, once again, the purpose of this meeting is not to litigate any crime. We all need to stand down. Williams pointed to Nora. Surprisingly, she sank back down in her chair. You're right, Liz said. It isn't motive for my aunt's death. Williams took a step towards the podium. Perhaps we should move on then. The motive for my aunt's death is actually in the town hall meeting notes. I looked at Nora yet again. She shook her head by way of saying she had no idea what was to come. Liz raised a sheet of paper into the air. What I have here are copies of the notes from a town hall meeting 11 years ago, dated April 21st. 11 years ago? Williams asked. What possible significance could a meeting from 11 years ago have now? The top agenda item of this particular meeting was Graves' house. Only I could hear Nora mutter under her breath, well, fudge. Fudge? Fudge? I stared at my aunt, willing her to look at me, but she had gone still again. Here, Evanora Warren is quoted as saying Graves' house is a horrific eyesore, that it distracts from the beauty of Evenfall, and someone should. Liz squinted at the paper as though she wanted to be sure she was getting the wording just right. Someone should burn the house to the ground. Nora scoffed. I was hardly I was hardly the only one in the town to grumble about the property. Multiple complaints have been filed over the years. My aunt was having the house brought up to code. That's why she was staying with you at Ivywood Hollow. Exactly, Nora said, snapping her fingers. There were obviously no hard feelings between us, and why else would she stay at the B&B? A smug smile spread over Liz's face. Because that's how my aunt preferred to fight, up close and personal. Nora frowned. What are you talking about? She told you during her stay that while she was bringing the house up to code, she didn't have any plans to improve the aesthetics of the family home, thereby ensuring the house would remain an eyesore for years to come. You were obviously enraged by her plans and decided to do something about it. Wait, Nora held up a hand. Just so I have this straight, you think I killed your aunt because your house wasn't pretty? Liz turned back to her papers. This is a quote from you in the Evenfall Gazette, dated 4 years ago. She cleared her throat. Constance Graves should be strung up and quartered for what she's done to that beautiful house. Nora turned to me and muttered, You know, I'm starting to think Beatty's right. I talked far too much, she said quietly, quite loudly. I'm sure that's a misquote. That doesn't sound at all like something I would say. The hall went completely quiet again as a number of people in the crowd exchanged awkward looks. Nora threw her hands up. Fine, then. It does sound like something I would say. But you all know me. I can at times be charmingly dramatic. Just so that we can all rest assured you weren't in fact misquoted, let me read from one of your initial complaints to the town council regarding Graves' house. She pulled yet another paper from her file. In the section labeled Comments from Issuers it reads, Constance Graves should be strung up and quartered for... I think we all get your point, Nora snapped. This is ridiculous. I will have you know, Constance and I squashed that beef years ago, when I realized the town council wasn't going to do anything of use. Surprise, surprise, she said, fishing a look at the members. I went to Constance's house and demanded she fix it up. She said no. I asked her why not. She said revenge. And we left it at that. Beef squashed. I'm sorry, you left it at revenge? Williams asked. Incredulity came over Nora's face. Who am I to judge another person's revenge? Constance might have mentioned something about her family, but I didn't pry. She whispered to me. Actually, I asked her if she needed any help moving her revenge along, but she turned me down. And then she then directed her attention back over to the crowd. Now that I've become acquainted with more of Constance's family, I can see her desire for revenge was most likely justified. You're scrambling, Liz said. Everyone here knows it. You had the means, you had the motive, and you had the opportunity. That's enough, Williams shouted. I move to end this meeting. And what about you? A voice called out. Who said that? Everyone in the hall turned in their seats to look at me. Oh, that's who. I rose shakily to my feet. So much for laying low.